Hello, welcome back to the Mr. Arsenal podcast for a live Europa League last 16 draw. Basically, we're going to get our reaction for the draw as well. But as you can see, I'm joined by James. Sam will be joining us soon, but James Rowe is here again.
Hello.
As promised as well. We did promise this last week.
We did. It's nice to excuse me. Nice to fulfil the promises after. It's like buses. You go away for a long time and then you come back and two come along at once.
Exactly. Oh dear. Put for the meal though, weren't we last night? Wasn't made easy.
I don't know how we are through. I really don't. I really don't. When that second goal went in, Ryan, I thought, this is it. Especially with having scored two goals, and obviously with the quality that Benfica have, and we're through. We haven't won a European trophy since 1994. When you look at the teams that are in this competition, this is opening up to be as good a chance, if not better, than 2019. And I remember the show we did when we reached the final, and we were jubilant in celebration and how much it meant. Hopefully we'll be doing a couple more, but this is a great opportunity now. And we've got it's not just our only trophy that we can win. Big teams win in Europe, and we haven't shown it for so long that we've got a great chance now. So I just hope for a good draw. You can't pick and choose your opponents, certainly not. But we can only see what comes up. But the dynamic will also be very interesting. We played the last 32 on neutral grounds. I think in this case, we will have a traditional home and away that will bring its own challenges. But very interesting indeed. Really looking forward to it.
Yeah, and also just before I bring Sam in here, it was actually said, especially when you saw that, when you see that second goal, it's I don't know if you watched the watch long we did last night, the manner of it, and it was just like, okay, great, 12 months on, the same things are happening. Home leg, this time it was a home leg, but it wasn't at home. It was the same things happening, same mistakes happening. Because the goals that we conceded last season against the Olympiacos were down to our own individual errors. We gave them goals, and we did it again. I was literally hood up and my hoodie. I just sat there. I was like, great, come on, let's get this full-time whistle out the way and let's see what comes our way, basically, in terms of the trolls and all that. Because I was like, because that's one thing. And Arteta was also making certain subs that were similar to last year, like Bellerin came off, and I was like, oh no. But yeah, we're through, thankfully. Again, like you said, I don't know how we did it, but we got through. We were in the draw. A few upsets though last night, James.
Yeah, absolutely.
Napoli being one of them.
Well, I've been stating for many years, and obviously it's due to the position I'm in, interviewing professional players and managers at all levels of world football. The gap, apart from the obvious, which is the commercial revenue and the money involved in football, the most obvious difference of recent years is that the gap between the seasoned clubs and the smaller clubs has been reducing year upon year upon year. And that's due to the coaching. It's a world game now. It's not simply the case of the bigger clubs and that be that. It's all down to coaching. It's all down to good management. And if you look as well, Mulder winning in Hoffenheim, which nobody expected. Young boys, yes, to have an artificial pitch, but to knock out by Leverkusen, Slavia Prague as well, beating
Leicester City.
Leicester City in Leicester. There's not many Premier League teams that will do that. But, we've got to respect every single opponent. Before the COVID outbreak, I saw a lot of Europa League action, flying back from Amsterdam for games. And I got the impression that from some members of the fan base, if it's not Real Madrid, Barcelona or Bayern Munich, they're not interested. And every other team is a pub team. But nothing could be further from the truth. We've been knocked out in this competition by Olympiacos, as you say. We've lost in this competition to Rennes, to Barty Borisov. We've got nothing to write home about yet, and it's a great opportunity. So we've got to take it with both hands.
I'll tell you what, Mulder are going crazy over here with the Mulder stuff. Obviously, I'm living in Norway at the moment, so they're going crazy. The news is it's like a miracle. Because I don't know if you guys remember, it might be a bit before your time, not yours, James, but no, Ryan, this will be during your time as well. Remember Olsenborg, the Norwegian club that they managed just about like 3 or 4 or 5 seasons in a row. They got into the Champions League, and a couple of times actually got beyond the group stage. And one of the times they got beyond the group stage, I think they won the first knockout game against over 2 legs. They beat AC Milan. They actually beat them down there in the San Siro. That was amazing. That was like they had won the World Cup or something like that. They got knocked out in the next round, but yeah, I mean, all of a sudden these small teams will just pull off a few things. And I think James is completely correct. I mean, you look at the Premier League now. The way the smaller clubs, now it's much more competitive now. You see the smaller clubs, they're getting results, they're doing well, they've got good players. I think it's like you say, it's a mixture of the the coaching's definitely got a lot better. I think the international standard of coaching is being taken a lot more seriously at a grassroots level. Like I know here in Norway, they're very, very the bigger clubs, the more serious clubs. They're very, very serious on coaching. Education, like proper coaching through the association and all this, getting your badges and everything. And I think they're doing that a lot more now worldwide, like you say. And also, I think the recruitment's a lot better now. I don't know whether it's down to actual, the people doing the scouting and everything being better at what they do, or whether this stats, there's a lot of this, statistical analysis being done now, whether that's actually working as well. But the recruitment's just working so well as well, isn't it? The players all these smaller teams are buying are working out so well for them, and so they get so much more competitive, don't they?
Absolutely. And you touch on Norwegian teams as well. I've seen the likes of Rosenborg beat Ajax here in Amsterdam, and also Molde came to Amsterdam in 2014. I think that was Donny van der Beek's first goal, and it makes me feel very old, because he's gone on to now play season for Ajax. And but I think both Molde and Rosenborg play here when they played Ajax respectively. Yeah. And they did very well. It's simply not the case.
Yeah. I mean, it also had a very good team in the 90s. I mean, we had they just put this team together. It was just amazing. It just clicked, this team, and had a very good coach. And they won the league here for like 13 years in a row. I mean, honestly, it was worse than Rangers. I mean, it was just terrible. They just won it like 13 years in a row. But they managed to get into the Champions League, qualify for the Champions League, like I think it was 4 or 5 years at least in a row, which is a very, very good accomplishment for a Norwegian team. But they actually beat, they went on, actually got through the group stages a couple of times, and then beat AC Milan in the knockout round down in San Siro. And I remember the goal. It was a headed goal by Rossi was in goal for AC Milan. It was a headed goal. He came out and he missed the ball, and the Rosenborg player headed it in beyond him. They won 1-0 down there in San Siro. It was incredible. No one thought it'd ever happen. But yeah, amazing stuff. Amazing stuff.
Yeah, a few comments in the chat. The previous comment I had on the screen from Apollo, a Rangers fan, saying, "Who do you guys want?" He's curious, and then Melvin pops up and says, "Any team that can't take free kicks or corners."
Talking about Molde and Slavia Prague, they're the two teams that we beat in our group, aren't they?
Yeah, Molde.
Rapid Vienna.
Oh, sorry, it was Rapid Vienna. Sorry,
Rapid Vienna.
Slavia Prague have come down from the Champions League, have they?
Slavia Prague, I believe they came through a group, I think, together with Nice and Bayer Leverkusen.
Right, okay, so they didn't come down from the Champions League.
If I remember off the top of my head, but lots of people were asking me who I wanted, and I kept saying Ajax because obviously I've been living.
Yeah, you want to be there, yeah, of course, yeah.
I've been living in Amsterdam for more than a decade and interviewing Dutch players and managers in their mother tongue, so it would mean that obviously you get your name out there even more. Obviously, being on football podcasts and Arsenal podcasts, so I'm a little bit biased, but I would like Ajax.
Makes sense. It makes sense.
And also,
there's a draw going. Sorry, I was going to say.
That draws the programs are started on BT Sport on my app thing, but literally with the Ajax thing, if it was Ajax or someone that we can actually travel to, not sort of going to the far reaches of Europe.
Oh God, yeah. Go out for like Dynamo Kiev or something like that. Bloody hell, at least fans won't be going for a little while, will they? So yeah.
Well, here in terms of the COVID situation, we obviously we're a country of nearly 50 million people, less than what the UK is, and there is, I believe, that we are currently in the middle of an evening curfew, where between 9 o'clock at night local time and 4:30 in the morning, you can't go out in the street. You need to have a good reason, i.e., you work a night shift, or you need to have a really good and also proof. Otherwise, you can risk an €85 fine. So, I think I looked at the dates of the dates is I think March the 11th and March the 18th, and then there's a couple of weeks gap before the quarterfinals. So if it is Ajax Arsenal in on March the 11th, for fans thinking it might be possible, there's an evening curfew in place until March the 15th, which has recently been extended. It's all right for me because I live literally opposite the stadium. I can see it from my bay window. But obviously for fans coming across, it would be a little bit different, of course.
Yeah, that wouldn't be fun, would it? You go see the game and you can't drink afterwards.
We'll just see. But whoever we get, it's going to be tough. And we've been in the competition for quite some time now. And when you look at it, reaching one semi-final, one final, getting knocked out of the last 32, it's high time that we go full pelt and try to win it. I know people will say it's our only trophy, so we've got to. But I just think.
Well, we are a cup. We are really a cup team, aren't we? That's the thing. We are a cup team. We do well in cups when we want to. When we're not winning them like the FA Cup this season, but when we actually want to and put an effort into it, I think we normally do quite well, don't we? So we've got a good chance. So who would you guys say? I must say I haven't been able to see all the teams that are left in the draw now, but. Who would you guys say are the most difficult on paper? The worst team we could get on paper is AC Milan. Is AC Milan maybe?
I think so.
Depends what AC Milan turns up.
It depends because they went to Belgrade and they really struggled. They only went through yesterday on away goals. They only went for away goals against a tough Red Star Belgrade team. And as I've said,
it's tough to go there, isn't it?
There's always one team that reaches the final, which nobody expects. Marseille in 2018, Arsenal in 2019, Ajax 2017, even going back to Dnipro when they lost to Sevilla, and also Benfica as well. So this competition always throws up the unexpected, and will be interesting to see what happens.
Also, the possibility, obviously, there's no security now within the nations as well. So we could have an North London derby, we could have Man United, we could have Rangers. We could also have Unai Emery coming back with Villarreal.
That's going to be typical. I have a feeling that's going to happen because it's so typical. You get that, don't you? The ex-manager is going to come back to Arsenal and beat us. Probably he's going to beat Arteta, isn't he? You just know that.
I was about to say that. That's because he'll be more motivated as well to stick it to not just the club. But the players that turned their back on him near the end of his time here. But, oh dear. Yeah, just showing all the teams. I'm like, bloody hell. These are Champions. Pretty much all the last 16 are of Champions League quality, let's be honest. AC Milan, Roma, us, Tottenham, United, Rangers to an extent.
AC Milan, Roma could be difficult. Yeah, Roma's always a difficult team.
Had a good result against Braga.
Ajax. Yeah.
So, but I mean, it's also the way that, European football is gone. Even before the COVID outbreak, I'd always prioritise European football. I'd always, fly back for like a, Standard Liège or Frankfurt instead of a Premier League game or something, But we've been in Europe for such a long time as well. It's never going to last forever. If we don't win this trophy this year, I don't think we're going to be in Europe next season. And that means,
no, I don't think so either.
You've got almost a quarter of a century of European competition. You've only won it in 1994, so it kind of sticks in the throat a little bit.
Yeah, it's true.
Especially if a few other opportunities to add to that as well since then.
Yeah, that's the problem. We've been in finals. We haven't been good in finals, have we? That's the thing. The Champions League final 2006. The UEFA Cup final was it 2000? We lost against Galatasaray. Yeah. I mean, we've been in a few finals, and even 95, we could have won the Cup Winners' Cup 2 years in a row, couldn't we? We lost with Naeem from the halfway bloody line, wasn't it? Real Zaragoza.
And they still talk about that now.
Yeah,
of course they do. That's just legendary, isn't it? That's just legendary.
Well, my in-laws are from Zaragoza, as is my partner.
Oh God, that's not going to help.
And when I first went to Zaragoza, I would wear. It was cold. It was in the winter, and I would wear my Arsenal hat. And people in the street, when I'd be at the market or I'd be doing whatever I'm doing, they're like, "Hey, 95, 95, trying to remind me. And I was like, "Oh, thanks a lot, charming," because it means
I'm surprised
it means well to them.
Yeah, of course it does.
Kids even have a day off school. I think.
Of course it does. There's a huge moment for them beating us. We were heavy favourites, weren't we? We were heavy favourites in that game.
Yeah.
The holders, we were still a decent team, and we were heavy favourites. So I'm surprised every time you don't go down there, your in-laws, you go into your in-laws, and they don't scream "Naeem" to you or something like that.
Well, this will make you laugh. The first time I went to watch them, I've seen them play twice in their own stadium, once against Extremadura, and my last football match before COVID, like proper football match, was Zaragoza Deportiva La Coruña in February 2020, and they had a TV advert like encouraging, I don't know, it was like a radio advert on the tannoy, and it also mentioned the goal from Naeem, and I thought, what? It's a radio advert in the stadium.
It's probably one of the big. You know what? That's probably when it comes to Zaragoza, that's probably one of the biggest events ever in the history of that area. Probably, especially when it comes to sports. Winning the Winners' Cup final against Arsenal like that. It's probably one of the biggest things they've ever done.
Mm.
Yeah, but it's also a lovely city, a really nice city. People talk about the major.
I've heard about it. Yeah.
Major cities of Spain, but I mean, I might be biased, but I really like it. Tapas bars are really nice, and atmosphere is really good. And also, the club's been outside of La Liga for such a long time now. I mean, before the COVID curtailed the Spanish season last year, they looked odds on for automatic promotion. They looked literally odds on. And it fell away from them, and now they're kind of like struggling to get to mid-table.
It's a shame.
It just goes to show how important timing is in football in that respect.
Yeah, because I mean, growing up, when I grew up with European, I mean, of course, for following Arsenal in the Premier League mostly, but European. I mean, from the early '90s basically onwards, and Zaragoza was always a big name in the '90s. It was always a big Spanish team in the '90s. It's weird to see them fall off like that,
Yeah, and Deportivo La Coruña down.
Another one, yeah. Deportivo La Coruña, what a team they had in the '90s, eh? With what's his face? Was it Brazilian that everyone wanted? Can't remember his name now.
I know. Valeron was Spanish. Yeah. Roy Mackay they had as well. Valeron was Spanish. Roy Mackay, Diego Tristan.
Tristan, I remember him. Wow, yeah, you're bringing up some names from the past here. Tristan, yeah.
And,
big name.
I watched them play Zaragoza in February 2020. They looked a shadow of their former selves. They looked, you're watching Deportivo La Coruña, but you're thinking that's not the Deportivo La Coruña. I remember seeing, reaching a Champions League semi-final and knocking out AC Milan.
I think it was Bebeto who played for them, wasn't it? Was it Bebeto who played for them? Yeah. Bebeto who played for them. Yeah, what a name he was. Him and Romario, the World Cup '94. What a pair! What a pair they were up front for Brazil.
Yeah, well, just that team in particular.
I just remember the Deportivo La Coruña that in the early 2000s, the vein of Man United every season they come up against them and knock them out. It's like the vein of their life. In 2002, obviously, it was that game. That's the second leg against Man United, where David Beckham had that metatarsal injury, and everyone's like, "Oh no, the captain comes out the World Cup and things like that." There was a vein of Man United's life, like Valencia in the early years of the 2000s were the vein of Arsenal's life.
Oh, and John Carew, Norwegian.
Yeah,
John Carew was an Arsenal killer, wasn't he? He always had a goal in and beat us, wouldn't he?
It was always his goal would be the one that knocks us out as well.
Right. Can you imagine how pissed off I was over here? Watching it over here on telly over here, fucking Carew again, bloody hell.
That was a hell of a team.
Oh, Valencia had a good team. Wasn't that Mata was at his best then, wasn't he? Mata was at his best, and that defender I like so much. Was it Ayala? Was it Ayala? His name is the defender.
Mendieta.
He was amazing. Yeah. He was amazing, that defender. He was small. Remember him? He was small, but he was just epic. He would just win everything.
Yeah,
amazing defender.
I don't know if you've got draws up your end, but on my screen, they're literally just going for the chit chat of how the van's going to work out, and this, that, and the other. All that
pre-show rubbish. Ugh, can't stand all that. Just get to the draw.
Yeah. They drag it out a lot, didn't they?
They really do.
But talking about that Valencia side, do you remember when we faced them in the second round of the Champions League group phase? We had Valencia, Roma, and Ajax. I went to all three of those home games at Highbury. The 0-0 draw against Valencia, you had Kuro Torres feigning injury. And I remember being a young, overzealous. Well, I'd just gone past my teenage years, and I was shouting at him. I was the lower east stand, and I was shouting at him, "Get up, you cheat! Get up, you cheat! Get up!" But those were the days. Those were the days indeed.
Oh dear, yeah. They're now showing the teams that obviously we all know the 16, and they're showing again. It's just dragging out, isn't it? Here we go. First team's going to come out. Here we go. Who's it going to be?
Yeah, you read it up, Ryan, because I'm not watching it because I'm always lagging well behind you, so I'm not bothering.
Oh, I'll let you know who comes out first and this.
Yeah, you're my eyes and ears, Ryan. Or
first team out is Ajax. Ajax are the first team out.
Home in the first leg.
Looks like it, yeah. So that ball's been got rid of now. Next ball.
Could be.
Here we go. The ex-player trying to get the ball out. The ball unscrewed. Here we go. Go on. Young boys. Ajax versus the young boys.
They play on an artificial pitch. So the second leg will be on an artificial pitch. That'll be really interesting.
So Ajax needs to make the first leg, or if it's a home or not, make that count. You have to, because as you said, look at the problems Napoli had someone else had last night.
Well, Milan went through on away goals.
Yeah, Dynamo Kiev
of
Ukraine.
By Leverkusen, especially in the first leg, it was 4-3, I believe.
Leverkusen, that's it. Yeah.
So he's going to Kiev then.
I don't know what they do. Just put their hand to hold the ball and they go round and round and pick that and hold that ball out. And it's like you've picked a tip. Like, here we go, Villarreal.
It's like proof, isn't it?
Oh, Villarreal have to go to the Ukraine.
Well, that'd be interesting.
Emery has to go. Yeah. Emery has to go to the Ukraine.
They've had to do some travelling so far in the group stage. I think they played Sivasspor from Turkey and Haifa. I think they had to really make some massive travel arrangements and things. But I think the second leg will be key in these games. I really do, especially in the last 16.
Oh, here we go. AS Roma are out. They'll be home. Oh, it's got to be. I guarantee it'll be one all English tie or Rangers versus one of us, basically one of our English teams as well. Try and cut down on the English teams getting through. Shakhtar Donetsk against Roma.
Oh, they met recently as well, didn't they? I think in one of the Champions League, or I remember they met recently, not too long ago. Sometimes you have to ties that keep coming back again.
I think it might have been last season.
Something like that. And I know you say about an all-English tie, but as we're playing in Europe, it would be nice to play.
I know, but I'm saying it. But I'm saying how UEFA's minds, because they won't want a repeat of a few years back when we got to an all-English final and Champions League wise as well. Olympiacos are out. Olympiacos at home for their. Let's see what they get. Oh God, if we get Olympiacos
again. Not us again. Come on.
If we get Olympiacos, I'm going to cry.
Oh God.
And they're at home the first leg of Olympiacos. So if we get them again, it's the same as last year. And we just played there last night. Here we go. What did I say?
It was Arsenal.
Yeah.
Is it
Arsenal? We got Olympiacos. Fuck's sake.
Oh God.
Fucking hell.
Well, at least we're aware of the stadium. You know, played on.
Oh yeah, we were there last night. We were there. We're in the stadium.
We know the surroundings.
You know what though? It could like James says. It could be. I mean, I think it could be an advantage. Advantage for us playing the home leg, because if they're going to start allowing fans in, you know, they could help us. You know, in the home leg. Yeah,
and also it could be sort of a full circle for Arteta, because what happened last year could become sort of a full circle moment, because of the downfall of last year, come back a year later chance of
revenge. Got to get revenge, innit? Got to get revenge now.
And again, it's a Champions League. It's a Champions League field, though. Sorry, James.
Olympiacos went through scoring very late against PSV last night, and they obviously won the first leg. Lost the second leg, but if I hadn't scored that goal in Eindhoven last night, it would have been Ajax PSV. So I think Olympiacos did well, but
Tottenham have got Dynamo Gank or GNK Dynamo, how you want to pronounce it. Croatian team.
Zagreb.
Yeah, I'm just saying how it came up on the screen. All Man United are out. They've got a home leg first, but yeah, I think it's Zagreb because I recognise the badge, but the name was like different. It's like, hang on. But it's from
it's like Red Star Belgrade team now.
Yeah, Milan.
Yeah,
Mark saying
Red Star Belgrade is written in their own language.
Oh, that's a tasty tie. If that's the case, I'm just about to see now. Man United at home first. That's AC Milan. That's another two. That's obviously very Champions League feeling ties as well. They're not like your run-of-the-mill what we've seen years when they started to rebranded it Europa League. It was like you had a big team here and there, but you've got a lot of Champions League quality teams in it. It gives that feel of a Champions League. So it sort of brings up the profile of the competition even more. Because I think when they rebranded it, it sort of downgraded it a bit. I didn't like when they did that. So let's keep it as the UEFA Cup. It was what it was. Nothing. Yeah, AC Milan. Yeah, Man United versus AC Milan. Here we go. And then Slavia Prague. That's the case. Not Thomas Rosicki's Slavia Prague, by the way. Who's he coaching now?
The other one.
The other one, the rivals, next door neighbours.
Sparta Prague.
Yeah, there you go, Rangers. Rangers have got them. That's a good tie as well.
Ooh. Yeah, well, it'd be interesting because obviously nobody expected them to beat. Nobody expected them to beat Leicester, so they mustn't be underestimated. But I think obviously if you're looking, you're looking at a tie around. Obviously Man United, Milan, second leg in the San Siro, but Milan are quite vulnerable as well. So it'd be interesting to see what happens.
That's what I'm saying about Milan as well. Because we've got Milan, they're the toughest. They'll be the favourites, obviously Milan itself, but at the same time, it depends as we saw, what Milan comes out. With Ronaldo have come out the pot. They'll be the home for the first leg, but yeah, because we saw at the weekend in the Milan derby, they got torn apart in that Milan derby by Inter. So it just depends on what Milan turns up. If we get the Milan that's been doing well this season, or the Milan that turns up in the derby and gets slaughtered. Mulder, there you go.
Oh,
there was
Granada.
It's tough
wow.
game.
That's good. You can't. Yeah, you can't call any of them ties, I don't think. Even our tie, I don't even try and call that, but yeah.
I tell you what, Mulder have got half a chance there, Mulder have got half a chance there.
Yeah, it's 50-50. And also with Granada, as we've discussed last night, and Brownie's brought it up a few times, our ex-captain, Mr. Arsenal himself, is a co-owner of the club. And obviously, as infamously, looking back now, took over as a favour to the actual main owner for a few games a couple of years back. What a rise there from Granada as well, because obviously not last season, the season before, or a couple of seasons back, they got relegated, got re-promoted straight away, and now literally their first full season back in La Liga, they got into a Europa League spot, and apparently, according to Brownie as well, they do play good football.
Yeah,
well, Mulder beat Hoffenheim, so
easy feat. In Germany as well, it's a great result. But as you say, you're very tough ties to call. But hopefully we can reach a quarter final. I think that would be. I think that's definitely feasible. But with second leg being at home as well, so it's like a carbon copy of last.
As long as it is at home.
From our mistakes.
Yeah.
This is going to throw up a lot of debate now, because obviously we did play in Greece last night in Olympiacos' stadium, and Greece are in the national lockdown. So now what happens now? Because that was obviously put in place after we got given that venue in the first place. Are they going to allow that first leg at least to be played at Olympiacos? And is Greece allowed to come into the UK because of the numbers they got in Greece and things like that? So, but I'm hoping, fingers crossed, both games are allowed to go out in their respective venues, because it makes it didn't feel right. This last round, it just didn't feel right for me, and you could tell the players didn't feel right either in both ties.
No, it's just silly, wasn't it? Really.
Oh,
and
dear.
Apparently last night's game as well. Apparently the original suggestion was Poland originally, but both teams decided on Athens.
Well, it's obviously close to less travel as well, especially for us, and because of our schedule, knowing our schedule as well. We're like, oh, actually, realistic, we want it something closer because we need that our players not to be jet lagged, because it's bad enough they're arriving back this morning afternoon from Greece, and they've literally got not even 48 hours then prepare for another game. Because I think it's not on. They should either give us the late slot on our Sunday or give us a Monday night slot, but no. But what goes in our favour as well for the Sunday in one respect is that Leicester did put their full team out apparently last night, and they did go for it, obviously, as you'd expect. So they're not only going to be hurt, but physically they're going to be some of their first teamers, even though they haven't had to travel, they're going to be a bit.
They're going to be tired as well, aren't they? So that's going to be the same for them.
It's that shock of they must have Leicester, the players themselves must have thought, even though they didn't get the away goal in the first leg against Slavia, they being at home and the record they have at home, they thought, the advantage is in our hand. We ought to do is score a goal. Again, it's a sort of an Arsenal arrogance that we've seen over the years of players. We keep going back to the Monaco game and things like that. Walking out onto bits of games already won and things like that because they think they're the bigger club and they don't respect their opponent. And it comes back and bites them on the arse. So hopefully, touch wood, we don't do that with Olympiacos this year, because I think that was a bit of especially the second leg more so last season was you could see there's certain players that thought, the game's already we're 1-0 up, got the away goal, all we've got to do is score a goal and that's it. They didn't really get the effort in until literally it's like extra time really. But revisiting Olympiacos part 2.
As you mentioned it, Brian. As you mentioned as well, with the fans and the effort, and the Monaco game. I was at that Monaco game, and I remember before I went in at the turnstiles, I heard somebody behind me say, "Oh, we're going to win 4-0." I turned around and I said, "You are aware that they topped a group with Bayer Leverkusen, Zenit St. Petersburg, and Benfica? So obviously a very, very good side." We ended up losing 3-1. And when you look at the team sheet they had that night with the likes of Subasic, Berbatov, Abdenor, Kondogbia, Carrasco, it's a very good side and they're not to be underestimated. And hopefully we don't do that to Olympiacos neither. They have a good manager too. Pedro Martins is highly rated at Olympiacos.
Yeah,
just don't. No matter what, don't let their fucking owner anywhere near our team, please. This time, after what he did last year, no, thank you. Not risking it, especially the cases of how high it is over in Greece. Anyway, I'm not risking it. Leave it. He can watch it at home. I don't care. Go away.
In terms of the game, though, I mean, what we've got to do next time, obviously, is we've got to show up. Next time, we've got to show up and actually take it seriously, because we just didn't take it seriously the last time, did we? We really didn't. We were really below par. We've got to. This is a problem we've had a lot this season. Is we just don't start games. Most games, we just don't start them like we're actually giving 100%. And it's a problem. I mean, we switch off and we make mistakes. We've got to really. That's something that there should be a lot of focus on with the coaching and the setup and everything with us. Is we've got to learn to start games switched on, give 100%.
Yeah, exactly. And hopefully,
I fully agree. Especially
yeah, and hopefully, as we've alluded on, the last year's game, both legs, especially the home leg. I'm hoping now Arteta goes away now and he gets a bit of free time at some point, gets a DVD of the whole match or whatever, goes watches it back himself, and then makes the whole team watch it back and point out what they did wrong as well. Because we can all point the finger at Mikel, because obviously he's the manager, that's our head coach. He picked the team. He did the tactics. Now he learn from this from last year. The players didn't have to learn, and then hopefully he can then point that out and say, "This is what we did wrong last year. We need to rectify this because we don't want to repeat If we're serious and we want Champions League football, this is basically realistically this is the only way you want. If you really want it, this is the only way you're going to get it, basically, because the league's out the question.
Yeah,
it depends. It comes down to, as it's always been drilled into me, on the day, who wants it more, who turns up on the day. If our team actually decides, as Sam says, decides to turn up, we should, touch wood, get through it. We'll script through it again. It'll be it's going to be a very close game again over the 2 legs, but we should get through with the quality that we have. But it's got to use it between now and then. I didn't hear when the ties are being played, but we've got to then play the right players and give Martin Eddie a chance.
18th, I believe.
11th and the 18th. So what are we on the 28th? I was looking now. So not this week. So 2 weeks time.
Week on Thursday.
Yeah.
Yeah, week on. Yeah.
No, but we do have a chance. We do have a chance against Olympiacos. I think we're the better team. It's just like you're saying, like we've been saying, we have to. But we need to give 100%. I mean, if we're not giving 100%, we're not winning. It's as simple as that, because they are good enough to beat us. If we're not 100%, they will. So, and again, this is we saw that last time round. It's just like we sort of had this sort of we come out with this sort of feeling that we're going to win this game no matter what. We don't really have to give it 100%, and that's the worst thing you can do.
That's an arrogance. And that's an arrogance thing. And the thing is, this current squad can't have that arrogance. They can't really put it off because they have nothing to really back it up on. Because they don't compete in the league. They don't compete at the highest table consistently. They haven't won a league title. The club itself hasn't won a league title for 16, 17 years. So, but they haven't challenged. This current team haven't challenged for a title. So they don't have the arrogance. Whereas the team, the Invincible, the early 2000s squad we had. They could pull off that arrogance because they had a right to, because they earned that right. And it bite them on the arse sometimes, but at least they learned from it and moved on. They're like, okay, we fucked up here, but we're going to rectify it. And as Lucas says in the chat as well, just getting to his comments, the redemption. It is a redemption arc. That's what I say. It could be a full circle thing after what happened last year, obviously. But Mikel's got to learn. It's not just a Mikel thing. But players have got to learn from last year, literally, because if they don't, it's all well and good. If Mikel learns from his mistakes, does what he has to do. The players haven't learned. He's fucked anyway.
But Ryan, Brownie asked James a question there. I don't know.
I'm gonna go back and find it. 1 second. Bear with me. Here we go. This is it. James, over here in Spain, the Spanish FA tried to help their teams in European competition by giving their teams a weekend off before any European ties. Is that the same in Holland?
Mostly, but it depends on the situation. I mean, there has been times, especially when Ajax did very well in the Europa League and Champions League, there were examples of that, and actually the whole country got behind them, apart from Feyenoord and Rotterdam, and people from Rotterdam,
the rivals, obviously,
where they fully understood that it's the best opportunity for the Dutch clubs to do well. And I think in this case, with PSV getting knocked out in the manner upon which they did, obviously normally it's playing on a Thursday and then playing again on a Sunday. Very rarely do they have matches played on a Monday here. If you play in the Europa League on a Thursday, you play on a Sunday. Due to we had very bad weather in terms of the snow in recent weeks, so some games were cancelled and played midweek. But Ajax have quite a healthy lead in the Eredivisie, so I think they're going to be okay. But I think the further they go on in the competition, I think it's something that the Dutch FA kind of Bay will definitely entertain, I believe.
I think Germany.
How's the draw going, right? Sorry, Ryan, I was just going to ask you, how's the draw going? They have a break now, do they? Or
no, they're done now. That's it. They've finished. They did the draw, and that was it. They went, the draw's done. Here's the draw. Goodbye.
Oh, is that all the teams?
That was all the kids. The last 16.
I thought there was going to be more. I thought there was going to be more teams.
The Europa League does drag it out a bit.
No, I guess a good draw. That's a good draw. I like that draw.
I think
Mulder was the last team out, but the very Champions League feel as well.
Yeah, but like you say, very Champions League. I mean, of course, I would rather not have Olympiacos again. I'd like to have someone else, but apart from that, it's a good draw, wasn't it? I mean, some good games there, definitely.
Yeah,
James. While James is here, I just want to ask James a question because he's the Ajax expert. I'm far from an Ajax expert, but there's one thing that really fascinates me about Ajax, and you might have the answer to it, and that is, of course they've got their academy, their world famous academy and everything. It's always churning out talent. But what amazes me about Ajax is every few years, basically, they build a team up through their academy, and of course buying in other players as well to supplement the team. They will have a very good team normally. I mean, at least a team that gets into the Champions League and challenges a bit, and like we saw last season, a couple of seasons ago, actually getting to the final and everything. And it just really amazes me how they can do that and then sell off all their players, because that is the way it works with Ajax. Unfortunately, is they will have to sell off all their major talent and then go through that whole rebuilding process again and again and again and again. And I'm just so amazed at how they can do that at such a consistently high level. And I was just wondering what your input on that is. It just basically, like you say, down to the level of the coaching, management, and the level of the youth academy? It's just that good?
Well, first and foremost, it starts with the fact that the youth is the lifeblood of the club.
Yeah.
The lifeblood and what the club is built on is the youth. And as one player goes, a door opens for another player. Yeah. Normally, if you go to an Ajax match, you will see a young Ajax player from the under 8s, under 7s, under 12s, under 10s, doing keepy-uppies at the side of the pitch. And it's not uncommon for some of them to do in excess of between 500 and 1,000 keepy-uppies while the players are warming up. And they'll talk about their future dreams and aspirations and the play that means a lot to them. And also as well, what they learn in the youth academy. I've spoken to many players who have played for other Dutch clubs, but have come through the Ajax youth academy and are now playing elsewhere in Europe. And they often speak very highly about being shaped not just as a footballer, but also as a person. They're taught to respect their teammates. They're taught to respect the referees, to respect your opponents, and to respect your coaches. They call it like the Ajax school is what they call it.
Yeah.
And in terms of playing a certain way, and it's something which is kind of drilled into them at a very, very young age. And a lot of those players that have come through the Ajax youth academy, they've sacrificed a lot of their youth. Because I've spoken to a fair few where normally you'd go out with your mates, you'd go out riding a bike, or you'd go out and about, and obviously they were only going to training. I mean, it's not uncommon in certain cases where at youth level they have the match, and you think, after the match you go home. In some cases at youth level, they even go back to the club to have their tactical training, and have their post-match meetings with their managers and with their coaches. So a lot is demanded of them, but it's something which is the lifeblood of the club. And when they had a spell here, I mean, I've been watching them firsthand for more than a decade. And when they had a spell where they would go and buy players, the fans let them know about it. They had a spell in the late 2000s and early and that kind of thing, where they started to buy players. And
no,
I think his connection's gone a bit.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, we'll wait for James to come back quickly. There, go sort of a quick recap of the draw. Basically, as you can see here, in order of how the draw was made. Ajax were first out, home to. Oh, he's one sec. Move this one, bring this one in, see what happens. Ajax are at home to Young Boys. Dynamo Kiev versus Villarreal. Roma versus Shakhtar Donetsk. Olympiacos versus Arsenal.
Sorry about that. The wonders of technology, eh?
That's fine.
Yeah, no, it's fine. Absolutely no problem.
As I was saying, when they had a spell where they would buy players in the late 2000s, where the fans would even let their feelings be known about, why are we buying players? Why are we not giving the youth a chance? And even now, when youth players make their debut, the rapturous applause that they would normally receive, pre-COVID, it means as much to the fans as what it does to the player.
So obviously you can see, that's a really deep-rooted culture, like you say, from a very young age. It's a very, whole. It's basically a holistic, complete an utter, deep-rooted culture. I can see that. You come straight through. Yeah, that's amazing. That's amazing. You've got to hand it to Ajax who have done that. And, it's obviously a system that's really worked well for them. And, yeah, it's fascinating how they can keep selling all their best talent and then keep, every few years they'll have another great team. Oh, well, not great, but you know what I'm saying? Another good team again every few years. And it's just amazing, because it shows you how good that youth academy really is. I mean, it definitely gives them a lot of great talent, and also they do some smart buys as well. Ajax has always been able to buy players that other teams haven't been able to see. There's normally some good little buys in there that under the radar, like Brazilians and stuff like that. So yes, it's interesting. It's really interesting the way Ajax works.
Yeah, as someone in the chat from Facebook. It's gone again.
Oh, it's gone again.
Someone's asking who's Slavia Prague playing. They are playing
Rangers.
Glasgow Rangers. Steven Gerrard's all conquering, as it stands, invincible, possibly league champions elect in Scotland, Rangers. And he's back again. Yay!
There he is.
Could you hear my answer when I got cut off?
I couldn't hear your last answer. No.
Okay.
No, not the last answer. Sorry.
Right. Okay. So, sorry. I'll repeat that. The wonders of technology, eh? As I was saying, my apologies for the faux pas and the technicality. As I was saying, they had a spell in the late 2000s where they would buy players, and the fans made their feelings known. They thought, that. Why are we buying players when we give youth a chance? And even now, pre-COVID, when young debutants would make their debut, they would receive such a rapturous applause where it would mean as much to the player as what it does to the fans.
Great, yeah. And I just said right at the end, it was fantastic the way Ajax keep managing to rebuild a team again and again and again and again and have success for so long and so sustained and so what's it called? What I'm looking for. So they've got such a stable, and sustained success, don't they? So it's always so consistent, and it's just amazing. You've got to hand it to them. Even though arguably the Dutch league is not quite as well renowned as the like the Italian, Spanish Premier League, but still, when you're at top of that league year after year after year after year, I mean, it's amazing. It really is. It really is. When you're selling all your best players. Like your De Beeks, your De Lichts, your all of those guys, De Jong, all of these guys, you keep selling them, and then all of a sudden, 2 years later, you're in the Champions League again, doing well. It's a testament to their manager as well. Their current manager's very good as well, isn't he? Ten Hag is doing very well as well, isn't he? So, I was just going to ask you one last thing, James, about Ten Hag. What are they saying there in Amsterdam and the Netherlands? About Ten Hag, do they expect him to go soon? Do they think he's going to go to a big club or I mean, I don't mean to say Ajax is not big. I didn't mean like that, but do they expect him to maybe go to like a Barcelona or a Real Madrid or something like that?
Well, he, by his own admission, he said that he would quite like to go to Germany. He's made that quite well known. That mid to long term, he would like to go and manage in the Bundesliga. He was linked with the Dutch national team job when it came up. But Erik ten Hag as well. He did a great job at Utrecht. He had them playing some wonderful football, and he's still very young, doing a good job as well. Assistant to McLaren all those years ago as well. So he's doing ever so well. And I think his next destination will be Germany. Although I'm not sure when. They look on course to win another Eredivisie title as well, which would mean a lot to the club and to the city, as it always does. And one thing I'd like to point out, because the Eredivisie does get people like to kind of pass it off as not a competitive league, but they forget one vital caveat. And I've mentioned it on this podcast before, but I think it's important to mention it again. Here in the Netherlands, in terms of the Dutch Eredivisie, all clubs have to hand in their books and their accounts to the Dutch FA. And they receive supervision in terms of their activities, their spending, in terms of living beyond their means. And
so they get audited. Do they get audited?
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
They get supervised where they get put in different financial categories: category A, category B, category C, ranging from very healthy and if to maybe average, for example, where they have to kind of provide proof. And if the Dutch FA, the KNVB, find out that a club is living beyond their means, they can issue sanctions, which range from anything from fines to points deduction to your professional license being revoked. The last case of that was Eberse Roosendaal, who was playing in the Eredivisie 15 years ago, and now they're playing in this Saturday Amateur League. So it just goes to show the difference. Can you imagine the Premier League also rolling out such a rule where if your accounts and your books do not match, you're threatened with potential sanctions? And it's also a way of
very good. I like it.
Which is why you see different decisions being made. I mean, there is a plethora of good coaches here. I think if you look at the future, you've got Arne Slot becoming final manager next season. He managed AZ Alkmaar when they ran Ajax very close last season. I think Maurice Stijn at NAC Breda managing the club he played. I think he'll be back again. I think we'll see Henk de Jong in the Eredivisie next season as well. So there are some very good coaches here. It'll be interesting to see the choices that they make going forward in the future.
Exactly, and as you make some key that I wasn't aware of that point about the finances being, getting revision and supervision by the FA or the Dutch FA. I think that's really, really good. I think that's really, really good. And you can imagine Ryan, if the English FA did that, with what Man City's books would look like. Bloody hell, Christ, my
Jesus
God.
Christ!
Jesus.
You spent this much, but you haven't earned it. So how's that work out?
You made 100 million and spent 600 million. How did you do this?
That's it. Bloody Southeastern League, fucking whatever conference.
Put them in the old conference. Yeah, exactly.
Work your way back up.
But the dynamics are also different. In England we have 91 professional clubs. Also the PFA, where they have 100% scholarship, and obviously we've got 18 teams in the Eredivisie. You've got in the first division, obviously 20 teams as well. So it's a little bit different, but obviously the country is a lot different, the culture is a lot different as well, and be interesting to see what happens going forward. But I've always said, guys, that the Eredivisie is an acquired taste. I've been watching it for well over a decade now, and
I'll tell you something, James. Sorry,
you can find very good players.
I'll tell you something, James.
You can find some very good players.
Exactly. The Dutch league has a lot of interesting players. I've always noticed that, and one thing I just want to say is, I remember growing up in the 90s, there was a program. It was on Eurosport. I don't know if you guys had You guys had Eurosport in the UK.
Yeah, we have. We still do. I think we still do. I think.
Yeah, there was a program on Eurosport. I think it's just about every evening, called Euro Goals. And what they did is they would show all the not the Premier League because of the TV rights, but every other league in Europe, basically, worth mentioning. They'd go through all the games that have been played recently and show all the goals. So they'll show all the goals from Germany, all the goals from France, all the goals from the Netherlands, all the goals from Spain, Portugal, Greece, basically go through all of them. And I always remember I used to enjoy watching the highlights from the Eredivisie because there was always I remember there's so many good goals there. And I remember one of my early favourite players abroad, outside of the Premier League, outside of Arsenal. One of my favourite players, you'll remember him, James. Obviously, following the Dutch league, I think it was PSV. I think he played for PSV, but he's Luc Nilis. Luc Nilis, remember him?
Luc Nilis, yeah, from Belgium.
What an amazing player he was in his prime, and he didn't go to a top club. I was amazed by that. He didn't go to like a Real Madrid or a Barcelona or something like that, because he was amazing, just knocking in goals all over the place.
Well, at the time, it was a little bit different. You had PSV playing in the Champions League almost every year.
More motivation to stay.
Well,
Yeah, more motivation to stay there. Yeah,
as well.
Yeah.
So Bobby Robson at 58 years old, trying to speak the best possible Dutch that he can to the local media is a joy to behold, and a testament to the man, because he wasn't brilliant, but you could tell that he was trying so hard, and he kept that cheeky personality of his, and just an absolute joy to behold, really. And
exactly.
Obviously now it's a little bit different. PSV have Roger Smith, former Bayer Leverkusen manager, in charge, and Mario Götze as well, and especially the ways he's on us here in particular. So it'll be interesting to see what happens. But I think Ajax will win the Eredivisie this season, but I think it'll be the last season of dominance. It'll be interesting to see how PSV push on. Obviously, Feyenoord with new investment next season. Vitesse are doing really well as well. For a club that harbour ambition to play in Europe and have some very good players as well. So there are some gems to be found if you look hard enough.
And Ryan, did you know about Luke Nilis? Is that a player you knew about, Luke Nilis?
Rings a bell. It does ring a bell.
My God, I remember I remember watching him on Euro goals. Every week he had an amazing goal for Euro goals. I was like, what an amazing player. I mean, he was just just scoring goals for fun for PSV. What a player. I remember admiring him so much.
Yeah, Brown in the chat saying as well, there's a weird link between Swansea and Den Haag for some reason. They would always come over for the South Wales derbies, giving it the big one.
Yeah.
Well, Den Haag they are a club with so much potential. I mean, I do find it quite strange how Adokar, who has a fantastic respect and commands a fantastic respect, he's retiring at the end of this season. And he's from The Hague. Also with his links to the club in the past as well. I was surprised that he never managed them for one season, because they've got an awful lot of potential. But obviously they're not doing too well this season. And I do think they'll remain in the Eredivisie. But also another interesting fact as well. Obviously with the rivalry between ADO Den Haag and Ajax. Viewers may well be interested to know that the ADO Den Haag fans don't refer to the name Amsterdam, don't like to talk about the city or talk about the name Ajax. Whenever the city or the team of Ajax or Amsterdam comes up in conversation, they like to refer to the team and to the city by their telephone code. That's how they're as mad as a box of frogs.
It's like over here where I'm staying at the moment. We have a local rivalry here. I'm in a town, city actually, called Drammen, and that's our biggest team here. A Premier League team is called Strømsgodset, and it's the team of Ødegaard. Our latest Arsenal acquisition. That's his team, his club, and but we have a rivalry here with another Premier League club called Mjøndalen, and they're literally just down the road, and they always refer to each other by their postcode. They don't talk to each other as clubs. They call each other by the postcode. You're that postcode and we're this postcode, Yeah, it's funny.
Oh, God. I forgot. Oh, days.
Anyway, guys, it's been an absolute pleasure.
Yeah, good one.
Yeah, absolute pleasure. Yeah, thanks for coming on, James. Appreciate it.
And, you're more than welcome, and we'll stay in touch and speak again on our current European tour.
Yeah.
Have a good one, James. Nice to meet you.
Cheers, James.
Nice to meet you, James.
All the best. Take care.
Cheers, mate.
Take care. Bye.
Likewise. Bye-bye.
Oh, he's
good guy, that James. I like. He's very knowledgeable, isn't he, on his football? I like that.
Yeah. That's why I like having him on, because he does go more in, especially in the European, like the European going to be Champions League, Europa. He does go more in depth into it and give you a bit more background on the opponents, no matter where they're from. If they're not from Holland or England, it's like he does have that broad spectrum with his job and all that. But yeah, this is, before I close this thing off, it's like this is the draw again. Ajax, Young Boys, Dynamo Kiev, Villarreal. Thank God we didn't get them, for God's sake. Roma versus Shakhtar Donetsk, Olympiacos versus Arsenal. Yay!
Same again. Bloody hell.
And then Dinamo Zagreb versus Tottenham. This is interesting, though, because obviously if both ties are to be held at their respective venues, both at home and at home, especially the second leg, Arsenal and Tottenham. We can't play. We can't kick up at the same time. We can't play in the same city and all that crap. So either our tie is going to be reversed or Tottenham's tie is going to be reversed. More like, I think because we're cup holders, I think Tottenham's have to be reversed because we're cup holders of the FA Cup. We've won a trophy, they haven't. The irony. So that'll be interesting.
Yeah, it might be a priority then, maybe.
Yeah, and okay, can I say tied around the 16 Man United versus AC Milan?
You can, because they're the two biggest.
Going back to Old Trafford.
Yeah, they're two solid teams, aren't they?
Yeah,
they really are.
And it's Zlatan as well. Zlatan Ibrahimovic going back to Old Trafford. Milan have been doing well this season.
Interesting, yeah.
Yeah, and then Slavia Prague versus.
That'd be an interesting game. That'd be an interesting game.
I think looking at this tie in general, all these ties. You can't really call any of them. Even the Arsenal one, even if you could say you're a die-hard biased Arsenal fan, you can't really say because obviously taking it at the equation of last year, it's Olympiacos. They're of the level of the European pedigree. They've got that pedigree behind them as well, and we've played them recently in the Champions League. So the Champions League quality as well. They are a Champions League quality club.
Exactly.
Granada, who've up and come in, and literally out of nowhere has gone boom, come back with a vengeance after their relegation, as we've touched on a few years back.
Yeah, they're doing very well
against Molde.
Yeah, so I mean, Granada. I think Granada are obviously they're the better team on paper, but the thing with Molde is they're playing. It's off season now here for Norway. It's off season, but they're doing a lot of their pre-season stuff now, getting fit and all of that. So. It could be an advantage in as they're not playing week in, week out. They're a bit more fresh. Yeah. They put time to put things together. They're working on their fitness, so they could be a bit of an advantage. And they beat Hoffenheim away. I mean, I think that's an impressive result.
Exactly.
So, but I don't think they're not going to do it again against Granada. I don't think they're going to manage to do it again. So yeah, Granada are probably going to go for it.
I think it was when the group stage draw was made. We were talking about that at the start of the season. You're saying that since Ollie's obviously left and gone to Man United, sorry, Molde have sort of dropped off in the stand of where he left and this, that, and the other. So they are in full due respect, are overachieving, especially last at Hoffenheim, again, another Champions League quality team in the recent years. And Molde got past them, they grafted and they did what they had to do. It's like fair play to them. They do have these results, but you said. I think that's going to be a very close one. That could go all the way, if anything.
Because I think the way I can see them treating these games now in the Europa League is like each game is a cup final basically because they don't have anything else to play for. They really don't. Each game is a cup final.
Yeah, it's like the Wimbledon from the Wimbledon versus Liverpool from years ago. The underdog attitude of got nothing to lose. So, and when put a team has that attitude. So that's when you get that shock.
Exactly, and they give 110%. I saw that. I saw some of the highlights of the game, and I could see they were really they were giving 110%. So it's going to be difficult to play them. It really is. So it'll be interesting to see. Very, 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 very much interesting to see. And us playing Olympiacos, bloody hell, it is what it is, isn't it? We've got to go and do that. But it gives us a chance to. It gives us a chance to get revenge, though, doesn't it? We can get revenge against them. But I'm glad we missed. Villarreal because.
That was a one-off.
Can you imagine
the meltdown?
Can you imagine the meltdown of our fan base of not just facing Emery, but actually imagine if he beat us? My God, it would just be a meltdown of epic proportions, wouldn't it?
Oh yeah, but. Was it last night when we were losing 2-1 on the night? I was like, oh, fuck. Yet again, not taking our chances. As soon as I said the word chances, Ryan, Melvin, and Salves went mental. Like, yes, come on, Tierney, yes. Okay.
Exactly.
And I mentioned it in Olympiacos today. Literally, Olympiacos. I think I even said, "Surely not, please no." And they came out. I was like, oh, there you go. I'm the jinx. It's my fault, everyone. If we get knocked out, it's my fault. Come to me.
No, I tell you what, last night it wasn't looking good for a while, though, was it? It really wasn't. And then we managed to pull it out of the bag. But it wasn't good. We struggled. I mean, we struggled against a poor Benfica side, and we struggled.
And even Benfica fans themselves that I've heard on Arsenal channels have said, this isn't a Benfica side of yesteryear that would give you a game. This is a team that's struggling, that spent money, but are struggling in their own domestic league. I mean, we're struggling, but that's another point. They're meant to be, because the Portuguese league, as we know, is like Benfica, Porto, and who's the other one? Braga. Sporting Lisbon and Braga. That's their 4 teams basically, and then everyone else is just off you go, sort of fight for your spot basically. If you want to change off, you've got. So it's not really competitive. Whereas our league is so, because we've fallen off so much. It's got in the time we've fallen off, it's more competitive. We've fallen away. Yeah. It is that, but yeah, we've got the quality. We've got, again, like last year, like Benfica last year, we have the quality to get through. But it's the mental attitude of these players that needs to fucking change. Because as you said last night, preparation. But that comes to Mikel, as I said before. He needs to learn from his mistakes now, and go get a DVD of last year's second leg. Go watch it back. Learn from your own mistakes, and then go have a team meeting. Point and then literally say, "Oh, this is what you did. Like this person did wrong on that one." Don't be afraid to call people out, because if you don't, they're not going to learn from their mistakes, and we're going to repeat what we did last year. And this is a big chance, a big opportunity for Mikel now for that redemption of what happened last year, because that was. Yep. I think the fact that we had that 1-0 advantage, even as Arsenal, so thinking, okay, the pressure's sort of off us. They've got to come at us and we can just go boom. And the players just got arrogant and thought, it's Olympiacos. We're at home. We've got our fans behind us.
This is the thing, our mentality is just not strong enough, is it? We don't have a strong mentality.
Dixon in the chat. What a name, Dixon, by the way.
11th of March, wasn't it, the first one? The first 11th, isn't it?
The first leg on Thursday, the 11th of March, and then the second leg, I think, did he say the 20 something, didn't he?
25th, is it 2 weeks later?
2 weeks later, the 25th, yeah.
Yeah.
Because by then we'll be level with the Champions League in terms of the ties, like the rounds and all that crap.
Yeah.
And then we go on from that. But so the 11th, that's the away leg as well. The first leg is away. That's on the 11th. So that is going to be interesting.
We're playing away. Whether that's going to actually be in Greece or not, we'll have to see. Yeah.
Well, effectively, if it is the case, 3 home games really, because we were home last night apparently in Greece. Oh dear.
No, we've got to win this one though. We've got to win this one.
And that's another thing you said about the mentality of the players and the team as a whole. This is something that Mikel, day one, said he wanted to get rid of. He wanted to change the mentality of this club and things like that, of that mental attitude. Basically, he's over a year in now. He has to come at some point. This is a perfect time, because if he does. Because obviously, if touchwood we were to get through the next round to the quarterfinals, surely then, you, depending on how we get through, obviously, use that as the stepping stone. Then, because obviously it's the year on redemption. This is a team that knocked us out, embarrassed us in the whole of Europe after being the finalists of the previous season. It's gone full circle. They've come back, exact same way as well, away then home the second leg. It's come around. We've redeemed ourselves. We've knocked them out. We're into the quarterfinals. Now the last 8. Can we now sort of kick on now? We have that chance, because we've got 1 in 8. If we were to get through, we've got 1 in 8. It's 1 in 16 now, but 1 in 8 chance if we were in the quarterfinal. Then with the quarterfinals, anyone's game. It keeps, as I've said earlier in the stream, it's on the day who turns up, who wants it more. And if we show we want it more and have that right attitude, that right mentality, we can beat anyone on our day. It's just the mentality thing that does my head in. But he has
the mentality. That's something for me Mikel hasn't been able to sort out. No, it's our preparation. Our preparation is too poor.
Yeah.
For every game we're not prepared properly.
No, it's too laid back as well.
Too laid back. Our mentality is wrong. We're not fired up for the games. We're switched off. And it's just not working. It really is, and that's why I don't trust him. I don't think he motivates the players or gets enough out of the players that we need. And that unfortunately is down. I mean, there's always this talk, the players. Well, sorry, but Mikel is the person who's supposed to motivate the players, create an atmosphere from which they can work in and thrive. And second of all, he's the one who keeps picking the same players who don't give enough, or keep making mistakes. Bellerin keeps making mistakes. He keeps choosing him. Xhaka, admittedly, he has had some improvements this season, especially lately, but he still had many games where he makes, bad mistakes, and he keeps getting played. It's those fundamental issues that Mikel can do something about that he doesn't do. So, unfortunately, a lot of the accountability for this, it does lie with Mikel Arteta. And sorry, he's just not good enough. I just don't trust him. I don't trust him to take this club to the level where we want to be. That's the thing. I don't trust him.
Yeah. And I think with that, we need to sort of wrap things up. It's gone over an hour now.
Let's wrap it up, or else we're going to go on for another hour, aren't we?
Oh, yeah, we'll be here for another 2 hours. Now, he's just ranting now. Oh, dear. Got to save our energy for tomorrow. Take on Richard again.
Take on Richard in the quiz tomorrow. And then Sunday's Leicester. Yeah. We might have a chance against them now. Now they're a bit tired like us and got a couple of injuries and that. Let's see how that goes. Yeah, it'll be an interesting game, though, Leicester. Leicester always give us a tough game. It's going to be a hard one.
Yep, and then obviously, as you said, I've got the quiz tomorrow. Then we've got the Sunday game at early kick-off. Monday, I don't know. I'm going to plan it over the weekend, and we'll schedule next week, and then let you all guys know. But yeah, thanks again for James coming on, and obviously yourself, Sam. Actually, really enjoyed it. And,
no problem. I'm good.
Yeah, hopefully, touch wood. We don't.
Big up everyone in the chat.
Everyone in the chat as well.
Yeah, we've got a chance now to redeem ourselves, right, against the club that locked us out last time. Big up Bargav. Nice to see you, mate. Yeah, we've got a chance now to redeem ourselves. That's what we need to do. Big up everyone in the chat. Brownie, Almos, all the other guys have been here. All the regulars have been here, so it's been nice to see them.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and as you said, enjoy the rest of your days. Enjoy the rest of your afternoon and the Friday to yourself. And as we're back tomorrow, as we just mentioned, the quiz 7:30 UK time. Once you have the full lineup, I'm going to put a community post out, let you guys all know, put it out on Twitter as well. Just waiting to hear back from a couple of people, and then we'll have the full lineup. But yeah, you got myself, Sam, Melvin, Richard for definite. Mike's doing obviously the quiz itself. We're waiting to hear back from a couple of other people. Oh, actually, James Howson's actually doing it as well. But yeah, we're waiting to hear back from Danny from Back at Wonderland and Mike from the Gooners podcast. And once I know for definite, we'll let you all know the full lineup. And until then, as always, breathe, relax, we're through. We've got Olympiacos, as always, up the Arsenal. Come on, you guys.
Up the Arsenal. Come on, you Gunners.